How you doing today, Marcus?
Pretty good, yourself?
I'm doing great. Nice to see you back in the office. What's your name?
I'm Brian.
Brian, nice to meet you. Glad you came in, Marcus, today. All right, great. All right, Marcus, I asked you to come back in today, to see me and so I can talk about, what we found after our exam last time. Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
And Brian, I'll go ahead and address some things with you, to explain, maybe if you're a little lost in this whole treatment I have to do and chiropractic work I have to do as well. Okay. So to start off, after observing you and doing all my tests and everything, I feel that you have a very treatable problem or symptoms that you came in with that I can easily address, within a reasonable amount of time. So hopefully, you're on board for this as soon as I explain everything.
Right.
And I'll go ahead and Brian, so since you're new to this, I don't know if you're new to chiropractic in general, but you're new to my office, so I'll go ahead and try to explain some things to you that I explained to Marcus last time that he was here, and a little bit more easier way to understand what I'm about to do to help him out. As you can see, as a chiropractor, we address the nervous system, okay? If you don't know what the nervous system is, I have some pictures here. As you can see, this is the spine. You ever seen a spine before? Okay. And these are the bones of the spine, right? The nervous system itself is like this yellow cord going out throughout the spine, okay? And this yellow cord right here controls everything, right? It goes from your brain, it controls your organs, it controls, what you feel, what you taste, just the air hitting you every day, and even your emotions too. So naturally, right, if something is interfering with this nervous system, it's going to affect you in many different ways, right? Not just pain, as Marcus came in experiencing, but he could have found some things that he never even knew he had. It could lead to more stress, lead to more. He addressed some problems that he had some problems going to the restroom. It can help affect that in some way, and make it better or worse. You never know, right? So what I'm going to address is I found a couple of what we call subluxations here on Marcus in the lower thoracic spine, as you can see here labeled. So it's these three vertebrae, which are these bones right here, labeled T10 through T11, T12. And the subluxation here in this case is what we know as like a small dislocation of the bone, okay? So the bone's out of place, and if you notice the nerve area running through here, it's hitting that nerve area, which is causing it to overfire, right? Because the nerves control everything, right? So if something keeps poking you or keeps bothering you, right? If I keep poking your skin over and over again, it's going to bruise. So naturally, if this bone keeps hitting this, affecting this nerve over and over again, it's going to get irritated. It's going to start causing you pain and other types of symptoms, right? So you're stressed out in the morning, it's going to make it worse because it's all connected to the brain, as you can see right here.
Okay.
So that's what we call subluxation. It could be from the bone, it could be from muscle tissue, as just your skin, anything, just anything that's been overstimulated to cause a bad response that we don't want. So we came here today to address these subluxations here, Marcus. And so as a chiropractor, we treat this a certain way. So I'm going to go ahead and bring out the spine. I'm going to kind of show you what I kind of have to do, as well as you, Marcus. As I pointed out to you before, I found some problems in your lower area right here. So it's like mid-lower back. And as a chiropractor, we do a high velocity longitude thrust. I don't know what those words mean. Basically, it means that it's kind of a shallow but forceful thrust, but in a very controlled manner, okay? So basically, if I have a vertebrae that's out here and it's pinching on these nerves here, it's going to cause Marcus discomfort or anybody discomfort, right? So all I want to do is push the vertebrae and get it back to where it's normal state and where it's not hindering the nerve as described, causing him these symptoms that he may have come in with. And this is a pretty good representation of what the body is and how the nerves go through it. And it's important, Marcus, that we address these things today because if this isn't fixed, if the spine continues to be misaligned, I have also another little pamphlet here that talks about what we call degeneration, okay? After a while, if something's out of place, you have like gears in your car or an engine, a cylinder's off, misfiring, right? It's going to start wearing down the metal around it. So it's the same thing with the spine, right? So you have a vertebrae and it's misaligned. You can see here in like phase one, it's just fine. And what you have right here in the center, what you may be wondering, is called the disc. These are the cushions between it. So it keeps, from bone rubbing on bone, which you don't want. So when it's misaligned, it starts pushing on these cushions the wrong way. It starts squishing them, and the bone starts touching each other. That leads to erosion, okay, or what we call degeneration of the spine, right? Slowly over time, this isn't an overnight occurrence. And as you can see, when you go to phase 1, phase 2, you start losing the cushions here. And in phase 3, as you can see, you start getting some rigidity around here. It's because it's subluxated. And the bone is not getting the protection it needs, right? So on top of the symptomology you may be coming in with, it's going to keep progressively getting worse, physical and anatomically wise, on top of that. So that's why we need to go ahead and try to address this as soon as possible for Marcus, so we don't have any of these problems in the future. You don't want to get to something like phase 4 here, where you have like almost a fixated, fused spine in technical terms, okay? So addressing the subluxation, excuse me, before I keep going on, do anybody have any questions?
No. Makes sense. We want to keep the joints moving, right?
Exactly, right? We don't want a stiff back, you have a stiff back, and we want to be able to function, normally, like I said, to go back to where you were. So a treatment plan here is to get you to come in for about 6 weeks, I say 3 times a week. I want you to come in, we'll evaluate you like we just did, and we'll evaluate you again about after a month. And we're going to do adjustments, we're going to do a couple of physical therapies, if you ever see some of those, some modalities, which like machines and exercise to help straighten back the spine and get to where it is, okay? As well as, there's also a fee, of course. I'm charging, $65 per visit. But honestly, you can think about that fee, it's 3 times a week, it's a lot of money, might be adding up. Just addressing some things you might be thinking. But in reality, this is your health, right? Your health is your #1 priority. If you address this soon, and if I look at this chart, I see Marcus as between phase 1 and 2, you're just a little bit off. Not the big deal. If we stop this soon and get you back to normal, what money is that worth? That's like priceless, right? So if you think about it like that, I don't think you'll have any problems coming in and staying, to your, any problems coming in and staying to your, my recommendation is treatment, right?
Absolutely.
But besides that, you'll discuss that more with Lisa, my CA at the front. And any more questions for me?
No, everything sounds pretty good.
Okay, well, Marcus, I'd like to get started on you today, and Brian can stick around and watch, or whatever he wants to do, and that's great.
Okay.
All right, let's go.
Let's get it.